Hello, I'm Diana Kanecki, President and CEO of KaneckiArt, and I'd like to share some ideas of what I've observed in some fashions this season. In the early spring, the biggest fashion has been with leggings and combinations of different types of skirts and dresses with leggings. Normally, some of the leggings are what you would not consider. Basically, something very basic pair of violet or red pair of leggings, sort of like fleece lined at what you'd find at Walgreens or some other stores mixed with high-end store products, which gives a nice look and also is very functional due to the spring weather that we're having in the Midwest. Um, the other point is also a different type of layering, sort of like a spring layering, like what I'm doing today, basically a bandeau bikini top, tube tank underneath, and a summer top. As it is going to get about 51, but for the weather now about 39, it's fine. But the most important thing about the fashion, what I've noticed is a different form of casual to formal wear, and it's the way basically people are dressing so that they can actually change from one to the other easily. Like for example, like what I mentioned before with leggings, if you're going out and you're wearing sheer tights or pantyhose, leggings are good to cover while you're traveling. So basically, if you and then when you get there, you can change out the leggings and you don't have to worry about having runs or anything else. And that's something I've noticed as well as when people are traveling. Um, the newest things are basically the color schemes. Some of the color schemes are actually going back to the 70s and early 80s, with oranges, some reds, but mainly when you think of it, it's almost sort of like the style of what you used to see basically with the TV series Charlie's Angels. That was and even for casual wear, basically, either fitted pants or loose pants, but basically in different shades and hues, and also in 70s tones and shades like that as well. So it is a little bit of a retro period like that, and but including with some new design as far as material and cut as well as line. But basically, it's still going back to the classic symmetry style. Let me know what you think. You can reach me on Twitter at Diana1A, and also you can reach me on my website at KaneckiArt, KaneckiArt .webs.com. KaneckiArt, KaneckiArt KIART.webs.com, and also at Twitter at Diana1A. Thank you. Oh, hello. I'd like to make a comment on the movie The Fountainhead, which I just watched. I read some books by Ayn Rand, and also I saw Atlas Shrugged, both movies as they were made, which were controversial when they were made a few years ago. The Fountainhead is something my dad told me about, a movie that he and my mother watched years ago, and I was glad I was able finally to see it. One thing I was thinking about as I watched this movie, there's a question that Chris Matthews asked on Hardball on MSNBC, why people are starting to read Ayn Rand. Well, what I would recommend is that that question can be answered by looking at if you don't want to watch the full movie, which I think you should, watch the final scene of the movie as to the court trial, as to the issue of the creative person, individualist, versus the collective, the group that wants to make a collective or a collective society. I think part of the reason why people are rereading Ayn Rand is because since 2009, our society has become more collective and group-oriented in thought, which wasn't supposed to be done with the attitude and campaign slogan of change, and especially after the 2012 election. Prior to 2008 election, I felt that basically the individual is still important, and the creative individual still benefited and was able to prosper from their work, and also in that basically the collective aspects, no matter what names they used, whether it's communism, the Chicago machine, the transplanted machine, to DC, the term machine is defined by John Cass of the Chicago Tribune, whose columns I read every day and subscribe to the Chicago Tribune. Well, what happens in seeing this movie, I think what happens, commentators will ask questions why people are reading Ayn Rand. They should have watched The Fountainhead, because there are certain values that have been lost since the 2009 election and since the current administration in office. I hope things will get better, and I know they will, because the American people are creative and will not go into thinking as a collective mind. Everyone has the right to their own creativity, to think their own thoughts and to succeed from their own work and their own creativity. They are not a tool. They are an individual, and they have a right to be paid and be rewarded and benefited. Well, I think what happens, it would help if more commentators were to look at the 1949 movie The Fountainhead. As when I talked with about friends, they definitely said, yes, you have to see this, and I'm glad I did. Thank you.